welcome to Just Start, Get Visible, your go-to resource of the journey to becoming more visible in a way that feels right for you. Hey there, it's Jacqueline here, of course, your host for Just Start, Get Visible. And we're off to another riveting episode, of course, helping you to just start and get visible in a way that feels right for you. And today, we're talking about following through. If you know that following through can sometimes be something you're a little rusty on, this is where we turn up our volume. This is where we cut down on our multitasking and lean closer to what's being said today. Because I know for sure that follow through is one of the most underrated parts of visibility. Because a lot of us focus on the first moment, don't we? We focus on the first post, the first opportunity, the first time speaking up, the first introduction, the first time finally putting ourselves out there. And those moments matter, of course they do. But trust for the people around us, for the communities we're building, is not built in the very first appearance, okay? It's built in the return and the return and the return. The consistency of it all. We've talked about consistency just a couple episodes back. It's built when people experience you showing up again, not perfectly, not constantly, but consistently enough that your presence becomes reliable, where you're like, okay, this person's here to stay. I believe them, okay? And honestly, this applies everywhere. It applies in the workplace. So don't think that if you're in the workplace and you're thinking about how does this apply to me, this applies to you in our creative work, in our businesses, online, in relationships, in leadership. People trust patterns more than isolated moments, okay? So in this episode of Just Start, Get Visible, we're talking about that. We're talking about how getting visible is not just showing up once. It's about showing up again, because visibility is not built through one good post, one strong meeting contribution, one opportunity, or one moment of confidence. Is built through follow through. So let's dive all the way into the world of making sure that we are aligning deeply with our ability for follow through. Okay. First things first, disappearing, because disappearing can mess us up, right? Something happens, right? We get uninspired and then we decide to disappear for a bit. But disappearing breaks momentum way more than imperfection, because some of the time we are disappearing because we can't do things perfectly, when perfectly isn't even required. One of the biggest misconceptions that we have is believing that imperfect visibility hurts us more than consistency. But most of the time, disappearing is what actually breaks your momentum. You're ghosting yourself, ghosting your dreams. Okay, I need to trademark that. Don't ghost your dreams. Don't ghost the things that you're interested in, because we're often far less focused on imperfections. The people around you are far less focused on imperfections than you are. We're not analyzing your wording, your delivery, your formatting, or whether every single thing that you said was polished. What people often do notice is, are you here? Are you contributing? Are you showing up? Are you continuing to show up? And what often happens is this: somebody gets visible, maybe you get visible, maybe you post, maybe you speak up, maybe you launch something, maybe you finally put yourselves out there, and then you overanalyze the response, right? You start questioning yourself, you start feeling a little exposed, you start convincing yourself that, dang, that wasn't good enough. So then you disappear. You completely disappear, so you lose momentum, right? And not because you failed, but because you made visibility emotionally heavier than what it even needed to be. And the challenge with disappearing completely is that every restart begins to feel harder, because it feels like a failure. Like, that didn't work, and that didn't work, and that didn't work. And it wasn't that it wasn't working. It's that you stopped showing up, okay? Because other people care, or not because other people care as much as you think that they do. Let me say that. It's not because other people care as much as you think they do, but because you begin losing momentum because you lost trust in yourself. Okay, I'm going to say that again because I know that was a little jumble there. The restart sometimes feels harder, right? And it's not because other people care as much as you think they do, okay? It's because you begin losing trust in your own consistency. So can I challenge you out the gate to not disappear? I understand things happen. We lose people. Jobs take us in different directions. I understand. That doesn't mean that we're going to completely disappear because we're trying to seek perfection. Perfection shouldn't be, right? It can't be the reason why we're going dark because no one's asking you to be perfect in the first place, okay? Let's talk about the relationship between our ability to trust ourselves and visibility. And it's a much deeper conversation. I reflected on this particular section of recommendations before I allow these words to come out of my mouth because visibility is not just a public thing. It's internal too. All right? And most times it starts internal. It's where we give ourselves permission to be publicly visible. Every time you tell yourself, I'm going to start showing up. I'm going to speak more. I'm going to share my ideas. I'm going to just be more visible. And then immediately you disappear. The moment it feels uncomfortable, you slowly stop believing yourself. You stop believing that you have the capability or even the permission that you don't need to be visible, to show up. And listen, that matters. That matters way more than public recognition or public confirmation. Did you say to yourself, I'm going to show up, and then you backed out of it? Because self-trust affects how confidently you show up. People who appear confident are not always fearless. Let's be very clear. I'm on a lot of stages and a lot of public places, but I am not fearless at all, right? I do stuff accepting that fear is a part of my process, that I can do it scared. A lot of the time we simply trust ourselves to continue. Like I trust myself to continue, even with fear, anxiety, self-doubt, all the things. I just trust that, Jacqueline, you're going to continue. I trust myself, and I encourage you to trust yourself to return even after awkward moments. I have done some awkward stuff, right? Some stuff that's just like, oh my God, that's awkward. But I trust myself to continue showing up, right? Even after low engagement on something. Like if I went off of, and my belief in my ability to show up was off of the people who liked something or shared something, I wouldn't believe in myself. Okay. So even after low engagement, even after imperfect performances, I've made some mistakes on stage before, even after doubt, which feels like it just won't go away. It's always up in there, but I'm talking back to it like, hey, I'm here. Well, I'm going to keep showing up. So you can continue with this doubt mess if you want to, but I'm still going to be here showing up. And that's the real work. The real work is the internal work of you believing that you deserve to be visible. Not becoming fearless. I don't think that, I don't buy into the idea of becoming fearless because sometimes my feeling of fearlessness or my feeling of fear, I'll say, actually proves to me that I'm supposed to be somewhere or that I care enough about something. Like I'm going to do it even with fear in my heart, fear in my belly. I'm still going to do it. For me, it's becoming reliable to myself. I can count on me. I can count on me to show up fearful, scared, uncomfortable, awkward. And I would like for you to consider doing the same thing because there is a true relationship between self-trust and visibility. And if I can believe in myself first, then I can then encourage or expect other people to believe in me, but I got to go first. Okay. Visibility is often built through returning. And I talked about this back in episode number 260, you coming back even after what you may feel like is a mistake or a tough situation. And I really want you to release this idea that consistency means never missing a beat. People be missing beats. Some of your favorite artists have missed beats before. You still be showing up for them, spending all that money at their concert, right? That's not real life. Like expecting yourself to never miss a beat because life changes, grief happens, energy shift, things happen. People get tired. You get tired. I get tired. So the goal is not perfection. The goal is to return. Let me come back to this thing. So can you come back after a quiet period? Because maybe you are realizing and listening to this episode, I went dark, like I disappeared. Can you come back after a quiet period? Let me answer that for you. You can. All right. Can you re-engage without making it dramatic? Okay, without making a 20-page caption on Instagram, I've been gone for 66 years and blah, blah, blah. Look, come on back, all right? Can you continue without turning every pause into proof that you failed? Because maybe it's not a failure. Maybe, like, literally you were being unrealistic with how consistent you thought you could have been. Should you really have been trying to post every day, right? Or have a question for every conversation that's in your workplace? Like, maybe that wasn't realistic. Because follow through of whatever is not about intensity. It's just your ability to be consistent with it and whatever consistency means to you. It's also about reconnection because some people, and maybe you've even fallen prey to this, and if I'm being honest, I have too, we stay invisible sometimes for years, because we spend too much time feeling guilty about stopping. Okay, that happened. Onward we go, instead of simply just starting again. So, can I invite you to remember that visibility is built through returning after a mistake, after energy shifts. But so much of it is thinking about our number 2 point, which is that there's a relationship between self trust and visibility. Your belief that you deserve to show up, to be visible in a way that feels right for you, and then giving yourself permission to return. Okay. If we think about our number 4 here today, it's one of my favorites because I always try to simplify it. Sometimes we try to make being visible way bigger than it needs to be. So I want you to digest this. I want you to digest simple ways to keep showing up even when momentum dips, because momentum dips. Okay. So let's just make this very practical, because motivation is unreliable. I don't wake up every day being motivated, even though outwardly, like, I choose that path, I choose positivity, I choose to motivate others. I don't wake up every day with this internal feeling of it. Some days you'll feel inspired, some days you won't. And that's normal. Okay. So instead of relying on motivation, I want you to focus on reducing resistance. Okay. And let me tell you what that means a little bit. Here are a few ways to make visibility easier to maintain, right? Versus like feeling like you're going to wake up in euphoria every day, because you won't. You can be the most positive-ish Polly out here. Okay. But waking up every day expecting to feel grandiose is just not realistic. And maybe it lasts for a while, right? Because you're starting something new and it feels good, and that's cool. But I'm here to fortify your process so that when you do have a dip in motivation or a dip in overall engagement, that you don't feel like, oh, I failed. Okay. Is it possible for you to make your visibility goals smaller? And so instead of saying, I need to post every day, I want you to try one meaningful contribution this week, because smaller goals create sustainability. Now, I'm not saying go small all the time. And if you know me personally, you know that I have a hard time doing small things. I do. Okay. If I want something to be small, I have to start it big and then work my way down. I promise. Okay. However, I do make sure that I'm not overpacking my days with things that aren't sustainable in the first place. And that's learned through mistakes in the past. So instead of, I'm going to post every single day, right? Instead, how can I have one meaningful contribution this week to make it more sustainable? I want you to stop overcomplicating your visibility, because everything doesn't need to become a production, right? A thought, a reflection, a question, a conversation, a short insight, all that counts too. And a short insight that might just be a response to something somebody else said, right? A reflection for yourself that leads to maybe why you've been hesitant about being visible, because points on the board equal points on the board for you. I want you to create repeatable rhythms. And I talked about creating repeatable rhythms a little bit more back in our consistency episode, just a little bit back. Because maybe you post every Tuesday, right? And that's a rhythm that works for you. Or maybe you attend just one networking event monthly, because that's a rhythm that works for you. Or you speak once in every meeting if you have something to say. Don't just be saying, I want to piggyback off of what they just said and you didn't have nothing to say. Okay, so speak once in every meeting if you have something meaningful to say. Send one follow-up weekly, right? A rhythm that is repeatable for you that you can go back to, right? Because simple rhythms reduce decision fatigue versus what do I do and what do I do? I mean, there is a reason. If you were to ever look at my calendar, there is a reason why on Mondays I have a focus. On Tuesdays, I have a focus. On Wednesdays, I have a focus. And close friends and family members and even accountability partners of mine, they know this, right? Jacqueline's contract and follow-up day, financial follow-up day is on Monday. All right. Content day is on Tuesday. I usually do my pitching and selling on Wednesdays. And I do that very intentionally because I need to create a rhythm that works for me. But when it comes to being visible, whatever being visible looks like for you, are you creating a rhythm that works for you, or are you just doing things whenever, right? And you're not able to truly stick to a repeatable rhythm. I want you to also allow yourself to restart quickly. All right. Because sometimes we fall off the wagon. Sometimes we trip up and we're like, you know what? I missed a beat. And now I'm just going to lay on the floor from falling off that wagon. I'm going to lay out here for weeks and months and years. When embracing the fact early on that sometimes things don't land, don't hit like I expected them to, but I still deserve to be visible in a way that feels right for me. So let's not turn one missed week into a 6-month disappearance. You do not need a grand reentry if you're restarting. Just continue. All right. And I know that social gives us sometimes this immediate dopamine hit that we need. So then people, you say, I'm back, right? Right? But then over time, you keep doing that over time and over time, your engagement to that might just not give you what you actually need. So instead of making a big fuss out of it, right? Let's just, number one, not turn a missed amount of time or a missed commitment to yourself into this long disappearance, and just get back on the horse, okay? So now that we've explored these four areas and ensuring that you are doing what you can to dig deep into follow through and understand that trust is built in the follow through, I want to give you one final one. Okay, I was just going to give you four, but I was thinking, you know what? I think this one could actually be pretty beneficial to what you are overall trying to accomplish and do as well. And it is truly embracing that trust is built in the follow through. Now, I know this whole episode is a bit about that, but I wanted this to be crystal clear, okay? Because at the end of the day, follow through really is about trust. And people trust what they experience repeatedly. If they're not experiencing something repeatedly, it's hard for them to trust that what you say, what you believe in, what you stand for is legit. And when you begin trusting yourself, you realize I can show up even imperfectly. And that changes everything. Your ability to believe that you can show up even imperfectly, because visibility stops feeling like a performance and starts feeling like participation. I am participating in my ability to show up. It becomes less about proving yourself and more about allowing yourself to be seen consistently over time. And that's where real momentum comes from. All right. So as you're on this journey to just start and get visible, I want you to know that trust is built in the follow through. Okay. Disappearing breaks momentum way more than imperfection. So let's stop trying to make it perfect. I want you to know that there is a very clear relationship between self-trust and visibility. You trust in yourself in order to believe like, okay, I trust myself to show up. And now I can ask other people to trust me versus the other way around. Versus like, let me ask the whole world to trust me and to show up. And it's like, I want you to start with you first. You know why? Because you can control you. You can't control these other people out here, especially on the interwebs. Okay. Know that visibility is built through returning, your ability to return. Okay. You missed a beat. All right, you fell off the wagon for a second. We laid on the ground for a minute because we fell off the wagon being disappointed, and then we give ourselves permission to return. Remember that there are simple ways to keep showing up, even when your motivation dips, because motivation be dipping, okay? Not the King's English there. And when we think about how you have the opportunity to embrace simple ways to show up even when motivation dips, I want you to make your visibility goals smaller, more attainable. Stop overcomplicating your visibility. Make it simple: a thought, a reflection, a quote, a conversation. Can we create repeatable rhythms, things that we know we can go back to on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, on Thursdays? And let's allow ourselves to restart quickly and not make a big fuss out of it, okay? And lastly, of course, is to know that trust is built in the follow through, our ability to actually follow through of what we said we were going to do for ourselves, all right? If you know that you've been putting a lot of pressure on yourself to show up perfectly, but before you show up consistently, I want you to let that go. I ask you to let that go. You do not need flawless visibility. You do, however, need follow through. You need the willingness to return, to continue to re-engage, to keep participating, even when it feels uncomfortable or imperfect, because trust is built in the follow through. And if you're trying to build a version of visibility for you that feels sustainable, not just a fly-by-night one, not performative, I love to support you, of course. I'm opening up space for a few more conversations where we can talk about your visibility, your journey, what's been making it hard to stay consistent, and how to build rhythms that actually fit your real life, all right? So if you're ready to stop disappearing and start building trust in yourself and your visibility, reach out. I make it really easy. Just send me an email at info@jacquelinembaker.com so you can take your next step. Listen, wherever you're at in the world, I hope that you're safe, healthy, and well. And I certainly hope that you're giving yourself permission to just start and get visible in a way that feels right for you. I'm particularly excited because our very next episode is one with the guest. You know, we do a guest episode once a month, followed by in-depth learning opportunities for the rest of the month. And so, listen, make sure you pay attention because the next episode is going to be incredible with the guests in the podcast studio. Please do give yourself permission to just start Get Visible. The world needs what you have to give, including me, and I look forward to your visibility. You take care of yourself, and of course, I'll see you again soon. Ciao.
Welcome to Just Start, Get Visible, your go-to resource of the journey to becoming more visible in a way that feels right for you.